in play. As you mentioned, she's the only woman to have entered the fray so far. But we'll be seeing Christina Tkach tomorrow and Jasmine Ocean on Sunday.
Mieszko wins the lag. Would you like to break? Yes, that's a yes.
Viv Rusko asking Mieszko if he would like to break. I don't believe I've ever seen anybody pass the break over to their opponent.
Rack number 1, Mieszko Fortunski to break.
Fortunski has only played in one group so far. That was the one yesterday, and played very well in it. Won 5 of his 6 matches, finished top of the table before that semi-final defeat. Can he cut that one in?
Yeah, it's a thin one, but I believe he can certainly pot the ball. And as we've seen on the first 2 days, the break is breaking pretty easy for the players. Balls are pretty much guaranteed. We've seen the odd dry break, but not many. And the players will know this, so you know, when you've got the break shot, you're just trying to focus on getting a good cue ball.
That opening match that you were commentating on, Carl, Billy Thorpe missing that 9 ball in the opening rack, and that really set the tone for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I think out of everybody in the event, you know, I know Chris Robinson bowed out on day 1, but I think that was probably the worst start we've seen so far. It just seems to be mistake after mistake, and in the end it turned out to be a bit of a gift kind of match win for Daz, so let's just hope for Billy's sake he ups his game.
Well, he's flying the American flag on his own now. As you say, Chris Robinson had his struggles on day 1, so he's out of the tournament now.
Yeah, and Billy Thorpe's next match will be against David Alcade on table 1 in a few matches' time. And Darren's next match is against Niels over on table 2, so doesn't get any easier. This is a little thin one, little tester. Passed the test. Good shot. You know, it doesn't matter how successful you have been in this game. Doesn't matter how much experience you've got. It's always nice to win that first rack.
Was this done before the match this morning? So a break and run out for Fortunski in the opening rack. We didn't see Kelly Fisher play a shot there, but we can hear from her now.
Kelly, a great day yesterday, although it didn't quite work out in the end. What are your reflections on the day's play?
Well, I mean, I started off beating Ralph, and then, you know, had a couple of matches that, well, the 5-1 defeat I really couldn't do too much about. Tried to pull it back against David, and I thought, you know, just stick in there. I knew from the day before that if I knuckled it down that I could actually, you know, possibly steal a few matches, but I never really anticipated getting into the final, to be honest. Just really glad to get through to the next day. So I was pleasantly surprised to have got into the top 4 playoffs, beating Albin and Niels again. So yeah, thrilled.
It was a great comeback against Mieszko as well. Was it just a case of getting the momentum as you were racking those up?
Well, I mean, what a player, you know, first of all, he's played probably one of the best out of all the players this week. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's a bit blurry really, to be honest with you. I mean, I just dug in and took my chances, and it's like, it's 9 ball, you know. That's the thing, that's why I love this format. I love the short races. It can turn around like that either way. I mean, you can get beat 5-0, 5-1, and then you can be 4-1 down and pull it back. So it's really, really exciting for the viewers and for the players alike too. And in the final, I really thought I was going to do the same thing and pull it back to 4-4 with my break. Wasn't meant to be, but I was thrilled. And Clenty's a fantastic player and deserves through.
The thoughts of Women's World Champion and Group 2 runner-up Kelly Fisher. And she's just played her first shot of the day in Group 3.
Push out called.
Yeah, it was a good break from Kelly there, just a little bit unfortunate not to have a shot on the 2-ball, so she's elected to play the push out. Anybody new watching, after the break shot, players can always play a push out. What that means is they can pretty much do anything with the cue ball. They can hit any other ball on the table. I mean, of course, they're not going to roll the cue ball in the pocket. That would give up the ball in hand. But what they have to do is remember and bear in mind that their opponent can make them play this shot. So Fortunski can put Kelly back in, and it's not the most difficult of jump shots, so he could be tempted, but Kelly has kind of struggled with the short stick the last couple of days, so I don't know if Fortunski knows that, but there you see, he's come to the table with the jump cue, so he's playing this shot.
Well, that's a stroke of fortune, isn't it? And he's on the 2 as well.
Yeah, of course, he's trying to pop this 2 in the side. He's at the middle point, come across and knock the 3 in. Now, I'm not sure if Mieszko's got a nickname, but after that last shot, I think we should call him Mieszko the Fluke Fortunski.
How about Fortunate Fortunski?
Extension called.
Yeah, that's a little bit more obvious. I missed that one. I'll still be half asleep. Couldn't avoid the cannon on the black 8, so I needed a little bit of luck. Kelly Fisher will be back at the table, but she'll be in a little bit of bother. Now cast your mind back to the semi-final that these two played last night. It was 4-4. Kelly Fisher was hooked on the pink 4 and she kicked it in. Can she do it again?
Yeah, that's the shot I was talking about earlier, and as I said, I think that for me was the match of the tournament so far. That shot was the moment of the tournament.
There you see Kelly using the bridge. It's a funky little contraption she's got on the end of her cue.
Well, you can use it 2 ways, can't you? Because if you put it on its side, you can use it in the normal way, but putting it up like this, you can bridge over other balls.
Yeah, she'll be happy with the end result of this. She's made a good contact and put the pink 4 on the top rail. Mieszko has got awkward cueing as well.
Real nip and tuck start to the day over on the other table. It's 3-all between Albin Ocean and David O'Cady. They're the 2 players who survived the previous group despite not making the semi-finals.
Lovely bank shot there from Mieszko. Jacked up he was as well, very easy to put a bit of unwanted spin. So, impressive start again.
Yeah, he got off to a flyer yesterday, played really well in a 5-1 win over David O'Cady in the opening match. Hardly put a foot wrong. And was only beaten in one of his 6 round robin matches yesterday. That was by Eklund Kachi, who of course emerged as the eventual group winner.
Needs the cue ball to slow down a little bit. There you see there's a gap in between the 2 balls for this 7 to go. If he landed straight on the 7, this would have been a formality. Now he's got to either play a little cannon or draw off the side rail and miss the 8 and probably play the 8 in the top left. And that's the shot he's played. Not quite got there, but such a clean potter of the ball. and the way he's been playing, I do expect him to knock this in. But it's not a gimme. He could even play the hook shot behind the 9, but I mean, he's not gonna. You won't really see any of the players attempting that when they've got a form of a pot. Now he has lost the cue ball a little bit there. I don't know if he was playing for the 9 in the side or the 9 in the bottom left. So this is a little trickier than the camera's telling us. It's a little thin one. He might even be playing the bank shot, Michael.
Well, it looks to me like that's what he's doing. There goes the bank shot. And there goes the 9 ball. Made a little bit harder work of it than he might have done coming towards the finish there. But Fortunski continues his very positive start here, and he leads Kelly Fisher by 2-0.
Yeah, over on table 2, Albin Ocean lost in the final on day 1, and then had a late night battle with Ralph Souquet to stay in this event. He's locked at 3-3. There you see David at the table playing the hook on the 1 ball. Albin's demeanour, just glancing over now and again our little TV screen in our comms box room, seems to be a little bit better today so far. We'll keep you posted how that unfolds.
Yeah, apparently he issued an online apology last night for some of his behaviour over the first 2 days. I think the fact we have a shot clock now will actually help him move on from that, because there simply won't be time for all the histrionics and carry on of the previous 2 days.
Yeah, that was a nice kick shot. They see the pink 4, he's tied up with the 8, so there's plenty of life left in that rack, and I'm sure in that match we will keep you updated. Back to table 1.
Fortunski to break, leading 2-0.
And it's the man from Poland to start us off, already leading 2-0.
There you see the red 3 wing ball flying straight in the pocket. Cue ball's gone on the top rail, so he's going to have a difficult pot, and his other problem is the ball after this blue ball is the pink 4, so he's got to try and navigate the cue ball over to the same side, which isn't going to be easy.
Knows how to win pool tournaments. He's won a straight pool division of the Derby City Classic in the past, and he's been a winner on the Euro Tour. That was as long ago as 2016 in the Italian Open. But to win a big tournament like this on television would probably be the highlight of his career so far.
Yeah, it wasn't easy there. You could see the cue ball, he had to get it over there, and you know, anyone can miss them shots, to be fair. He taps the table because he got a little bit lucky, but Kelly can see the edge of this too, so it's not like she's got a full ball hook. She's just playing thin off this, and she can get it thick enough. Oh yeah, that's fine, needs a little bounce. There you can see the 3 balls in the middle of the table. That makes for a big target to land behind, so that was intended by Kelly.
Extension called.
If he was to win the tournament, it would be a timely birthday present to himself. He's 29 next Thursday.
There you heard Viv say extension. The shot clock has come in play on day 3. Players are used to playing with a shot clock, so it's not going to really matter. And he's lived up to his new nickname, Fortunski.
If that does catch on, please don't tell him it was me who gave it to him.
I'll be the first man to tell him, Michael. So, start of this match has not gone Kelly's way. She's experienced enough, she'll have been through this many times. She can either kick 2 rails or 1 rail off the top. She's playing 2 rails. She's getting the Predator bridge now. We've seen her use the bridge in the last rack. That was her own bridge, so now she's having to go with the Predator bridge. If she hits this full, she could pot it in the side. I mean, it's highly unlikely, but that shot is on. And that's not bad.
Why would a player, Carl, choose to use one of those bridges rather than the other one?
Answers on a postcard. I have no clue. I think maybe shot clock, she just grabbed it rather than going back to the chair and getting her own.
So there's no technical difference in terms of how to play the shot?
No, definitely not. I mean, I think the reason why Kelly uses her own contraption is because it's a little bit kind of like snooker style, isn't it? You know, the old cross on a snooker table rest bridge, as where typical American bridges are. They look a bit like a deer's antlers and all, you know, see some real funny designs. So I would just put that down to the shot clock. So this is a thin one and it's overcut. So now Kelly has got her first real opportunity at the table. Cue ball is on the rail. If this is straight, she's going to maybe have some issues getting back over for this purple 5. Well, can she even see it? At first glance, I thought she was on it, but that, you know, there you see, it's full ball snooker. Wake up, Carlito. That's a nice shot, Michael.
Well, that's just perfection, isn't it?
Yeah, she clipped it off the bottom rail, spun the cue ball round the table, and she's landed absolutely perfect on this 5.
Looks fairly straightforward from here for Kelly Fisher to get her first rack. It's always important to do that in any match, but particularly so when it's the first match of the day and you've got a lot of matches ahead of you. You want to feel you've got yourself involved in the day's proceedings. And if she can close to 2-1 here, she's got the break in the next rack. So a decent chance to level.
Now she's lost the cue ball a little bit there. She was playing for the 8 in the top right. So this is a little bit similar to the shot she's just played. It's played into a blind pocket. Now Kelly doesn't really spin the cue ball around 3 rails like a regular pool player. She likes to play this shot, digging down with less spin and getting the cue ball to arc. And she's played that nice. So this 9 ball and Kelly Fisher will be on the board.
Yeah, she's taken those well. Kelly Fisher off the mark then. She still trails against Mieszko Fortunski, but it's now 2-1. Back in a moment.
Going to the bottom cushion, maybe off the 8. Oh, trick shot by Woodward. What a shot by Evolution.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just
This championship is being played with the new Aramith tournament set. Featuring a unique molecular structure, it guarantees razor-sharp precision and unsurpassed longevity. Unquestionably the best pool balls in the world, this set is available in a TV and a value pack version, as well as in the new My Aramith range of ball and cue cases. Now you can bring and play with the best ball set everywhere you go. My Aramith, bringing new dimensions to your billiards experience.
It's day 3 of the Predator Championship League, and Kelly Fisher is off and running against Mieszko Fortunski. She was 2-0 down, but she's closed that in now to 2-1, and she'll have the break in rack 4 in what is for both players their opening match in this third group. We're in Milton Keynes, home to so many Q Sports events over the last year. So Kelly Fisher then, 2-1 down, looking to take full advantage of the break here and level things up.
Yeah, and she's got a shot on the 1 ball, so that's good news. It's becoming a bit of a scene now on the break. We're expecting the wing ball to consistently keep going in that pocket, so that takes a bit of pressure off the players. They know that's pretty much wired, so they can just focus on trying to get a good cue ball.
You alluded to Kelly Fisher's snooker background, Carl. She was 5 times women's world champion, and she probably would have gone on to win it a few more times if she hadn't stopped playing in it after 2003, when she decided women's snooker was going nowhere, or at least not going in the direction she wanted it to. So she followed Alison Fisher in going off to the States to play pool. Has never looked back. First big win came just a couple of years in at the San Diego Classic. She ended up winning that 3 years in a row. By 2008 she was ranked number 1. She'd won the US Open. Probably her best year, in fact, was 2012. She became women's world champion at 9 ball for the first time, and was actually the 4th highest money winner in all of pool that year across men and women. She also won the China Open that same year, so those 2 big titles accounted for most of those winnings. And of course, she's since regained the world 9 ball title. She won the last staging of it in 2019, beating Jasmine Ocean, who we'll be seeing later in the week.
Yeah, you mentioned the great Alison Fisher, nicknamed the Duchess of Doom. The World Cup of Pool will take place May 9th through to the 14th, and Kelly and Alison will be playing as a team in that event. So that's going to be a treat for pool fans, watching the 2 Fishers battle it out.
Yeah, I had a text from Alison yesterday actually. She's watching the action over in the States and enjoying it all as ever.
Yeah, Kelly's just caught the 9 ball there, which at first glance kind of looked like it's made things worse, but I think the cue ball was tracking towards the centre, so it probably wasn't the worst of kisses. Now she's cueing down there. You can see if you look at the cue, it's pointing down, and this does make the shot harder. Not for Kelly. Again, not in ideal position, but you know, Kelly Fisher, such a great potter and a good cueist. You know, we've seen Billy Thorpe struggle with this type of shot and missed a few balls, and this is not really something we see with Kelly, so I do expect her to pot this ball. And now she's in prime position, and she's pulled this match back. Again, she was 2 down, and this 8 and 9 will make it 2-2. She's showing that fight and grit that she possesses.
Yeah, I said earlier on, she wasn't getting a foothold in the match. She certainly has now and is growing in strength. From 2-0 down, she's drawn level. It's 2-all. I'll bring you up to date on events on the other table. It's also level there, but they're a bit further on. It's 4-all, so they've gone hill-hill between Albin Ocean and David O'Cady. O'Cady has just broken off in the last rack. He's got the 6 down. Not sure he's on the 1. Well, we can see it now.
Yeah, he's faced with a tough shot here. He's David O'Cady. It's a 1-rack shootout over on table 2, so he needs to come with something good here.
Battled back well after a really poor start to yesterday, David O'Cady. He lost both of his first 2 matches 5-1, but then got 3 wins in a row. Lost to Niels Fine, so didn't quite make it through to the semi-finals. Was very close, lost out to Kelly Fisher on a frames countback after they both finished 1-3, lost 3. Racks countback, I think I said frames there.
Yeah, and after this match on table 1, David will be playing for Fortunski on table 1, so that is a big rack, because if he wins this rack, at least he's coming onto table 1 with 1 from 1. And he's played a good shot there, and he's given himself a chance for that rack. So over back to table 1, Fortunski to break. Kelly's won the last 2 racks. It's 2-2. And he's no shot. And there you can see the yellow one is hiding behind the pink 4. So he will be playing a push there. You see he's coming down bottom end of the table. The reason why he's doing that is because that gives him a view of where he would like to leave the cue ball.
Push out called.
In a way, these two, even though neither of them won the group, were the 2 big stories of yesterday. Fisher, obviously, by getting to the final, and Fortunski just by coming in with a field mostly full of much bigger names than him and playing so well, winning so many matches. As I said, Ekland Kachi, the eventual group winner, was the only player to beat him in that round-robin stage.
Now if Kelly's playing thin off the edge of the 1, that is very, very difficult. She could also play fullish onto the right side of the 1. That's the shot she's played, so she's trying to get cue ball in behind 9. This needs to slow down. Not too bad. I mean, yeah, Fortunski can see this ball. I mean, if he can pot it, there's a small chance cue ball could come back off the 1 rail and bump the 9. Just depends what angle he's got. Over on table 2, David O'Cady. He is on the 8 ball. It's a little bit straight, but he should be okay. So he's going for the pot. He's missed the pot, and Kelly's got a chance here, Michael.
A good one as well. So is she now going to lead, having been 2-0 down? Over on the other table, O'Cady has negotiated that 8, so he's on a routine 9 ball, and he's going to beat Albin Ocean for the 2nd day in a row. It was actually against Ocean that he got his first win yesterday in his 3rd match. Same today, but he's done it in his 1st match. So David O'Cady beats Albin Ocean 5 racks to 4 in the 1st match of the day on table 2. Ocean will be straight back on to play Niels Fine in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Albin. So Kelly's at the table in prime position.
You know, I think what's helped her this week is she's got exactly the attitude you need for this format. Other players are maybe getting a bit bogged down and looking at the table and how many matches they've won and how many they've lost. She's just going out there at the start of each group, playing pool, getting some wins under her belt early on. And she's able to do that, I think, because she's fully grasped that even if you have a few defeats, you're not out of it and you can still play your way through. She finished 4th in the table in the round robin section yesterday and still ended up almost winning the group. So she's got the right mindset to this.
Yeah, the right mindset is everything in any game or sport that you play as well.
One thing I would say is her expectations are bound to have changed. I think she would have come in a field of this quality and just thought, try to survive for a few groups. She's done that anyway. But the fact that she's done so well, particularly yesterday, she's got to now be thinking, well, hang on, I could actually win one of these and find myself in the winners group next Monday.
Yeah, even myself in the com box, I wasn't 100% certain, you know, what was going to happen with Kelly. I mean, of course, I know it's a race to 5, but to be honest, if it was a race to 9, 10, 11, in this match arena, she's not out of her depth, that's for sure.
And she's won 3 in a row here. From 2-0 down, Kelly Fisher has turned it round to lead 3-2. Fortunski must be getting a sense of deja vu here. Okay, it was different circumstances in the semi-final of the previous group, and he was further ahead. But nevertheless, Kelly Fisher is threatening to come from behind to see him off for the 2nd match in a row. It's actually the 3rd time they've played each other inside 24 hours, because of course they did meet in the round robin section. Fortunski won 5-1 in that. I mentioned that she's been world champion at snooker. She's also been world champion in 9-ball pool and in 10-ball. And there have been a number of stagings over the years of the Women's World Billiards Championship. Fairly low-key event, nevertheless, she has won that as well. So I can't think of any player in either men's or women's Q sports who's been a world champion at snooker, pool and billiards. There's so many differences between them. You might think it's all hitting balls with cues, but there are different ways of doing it, different styles, different rhythms to the game, different skills involved in a lot of ways. So she has proved herself as a genuine all-rounder.
6. Kelly Fisher to break, leading 3 racks to 2.
So all looking rosy for her now. She's got the lead for the first time in the match, and she's got the break in rack 6.
Successful break again. Wing ball drops in the corner. One ball's gone dead centre of the top rail, so she's no pot. Kelly's gone back to her own rest for this shot.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That is much more like a traditional snooker rest. And there are so many little things about Kelly's game that really show her snooker background. She spent so much of her early life playing the 22-ball game. And some of those habits stay with you for a lifetime.
She needs to be careful here, because she might have left a gap. That's the problem whenever you're putting the object ball near the pocket. And I think she has left a gap. There's a long shot. He's got awkward cueing. He's cueing down on the cue ball. So I expect him to make the pot. This is just all about positioning onto the blue 2. Cue ball needs to slow down, because it could be coming behind the 9.
Yeah, he really needed to hit the 9 full in the face there when he was running on a collision course with it. Instead, he's just clipped off it and found himself hooked on the 2.
good chance of making this 2. It was close.
Oh, that'll do as a second prize though, and position on the 2. How do you like that?
Well,
Fortunate for Fortunski indeed.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. Look at this. Not only has he fluked the ball, the cue ball's come round the table, up for the 2, and landed absolutely plumb.
That's where you'd put it with ball in hand. Ideal angle to then get down for the 3. Well, the misjudged safety that left him the 1 looked like being a potential turning point. But I think that slice of fortune there, you can say that even more so. That's the moment they could be looking back on if Fortunski goes on to win this.
You know, when you're playing pool, you go through so many emotions when you're sat in your chair. Neil's Fine's just missed a shocker in rack 1 over on table 2.
He's missed a lot of routine balls over the few days, even though he's done pretty well, been a semi-finalist in both groups. He's thrown in some really surprising misses.
So fortunate for Fortunski, after fluking a ball in this rack, has got this 9 ball to tie the match up at 3-3.
Well, they contested arguably the match of the week so far last night. This one isn't bad either, you know, and they're level again. 3 racks apiece. The climax is next.
Maybe off the 8. Oh, trick shot by Woodward. What a shot by Evolution.
One thing's guaranteed, that shot will appear on plenty of highlight reels.
Whoa, did he split the wicket? What a beautiful shot that was. What a beautiful execution. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it's best if you get up to the table and just hit the ball.
Welcome back to the early stages of Group 3 in the Predator Championship League. We're watching Mieszko Fortunski, a semi-finalist in Group 2 last night, and Kelly Fisher, who beat him in that semi-final and went on to be the group runner-up to Eklund Kaci. First match for both of them in this group, and it's an intriguing contest so far. Fortunski has drawn level at 3-all, and he's got the break in the 7th rack. And that's fine. He's got a 1-4 combination there, even if he can't make the one in the middle. I think the one actually does go direct, so he's got options. Oh, can you believe he's missed the combination?
So Kelly Fisher jumps out of her chair. Just didn't hit this full enough, did he? And you see, watch the one ball there, just clips it and doesn't drop. So good chance for Kelly.
Yeah, sometimes when the ball is over the pocket like that, you maybe just subconsciously take it for granted just a little bit. Thinking more about the positioning of the balls, you assume you're going to make the combination.
Kelly would have loved for the one ball to have dropped at the same time. She's perfect on the two. Now this can often go wrong, so this needs a bit of care. And she's under it, this. She does have a thin snip at it. She's also got a bank, but I think she's more than likely going to play the old thin snip into the corner. She's just double checking the potting angle. Now she's going to have to play this pocket weight. That means the object ball goes a little slower into the pocket.
Extension called. Because
she needs to hold the cue ball over on the left side of the table. Even somewhere near the 8 is not the end of the world off a couple of rails. She calls extension, of course. Today on day 3 we've implemented the shot clock. Good shot.
Sorry, Carl, I was just going to say, I think we're seeing the difference already with the shot clock. We're not seeing players taking 2 minutes over shots like we were yesterday, just because they can't now.
Yeah, and you know, we've all played pool before, and usually when you're taking time over shots, it means you're talking yourself out of shots. That's all. I mean, there's 1 or 2 options really every time, and it's usually just the nerves and your brain telling you what can go wrong more than, you know. But in these situations, like I say, it's just Kelly knows where she wants the cue ball. It's just a case of focusing and getting on with it, really.
It's 1-0 on the other table to Niels Fine against Alban Ocean. That a repeat, of course, of the World Championship final from 7 years ago, which Fine won. Ocean went on to win the title himself a couple of years later. But the missed combination from Fortunski has proved key. He'll be absolutely kicking himself after passing up that chance. Kelly Fisher now leads 4-3, and she's got the break in the next rack. She's on the hill. She's certainly been a good starter in the groups. If she can see this one out, she'll have won her opening match in all 3. She won her first 2 matches in the opening group on Monday, and both days have gone somewhat similar for her in the round-robin stage. Made a good start and faded away a bit. The difference was on Tuesday she then finished strongly, and that was even before she'd had that dramatic semi-final win and a closely fought final against Eklund Kaci. This is the match I was telling you about next door. Ocean has already lost a match and put himself under a lot of pressure if he loses this one as well, Carl. That would be 0 for 2, as the Americans say.
Yeah, Alban's just battling the demons inside his own mind. He issued an apology on his social media account, apologising for his behaviour. I mean, when I say apologising for
Rack
his
number 8,
behaviour, he was
Alex
kind of like
Stewart,
beating himself
44
up
racks
and
to
kind of
3.
throwing his cue around. And I mean, at one point, Michael, he was even doing that if he got the lucky roll. So that's just shows you the headspace he was at. But Kelly Fisher is in a good headspace. It's day 3. She's come out all guns blazing, and we're used to seeing this little gritty, determined ladies world 9-ball champion battle it out, and she's leading this match 4-3. Tricky shot coming up though. I'm not so sure if she can draw back and get on the 2. I think she's got too much angle, so she's just having a little look if she gets the cue ball kind of like middle of the table on the head string. Can she cut it in? Tricky shot though. There you see she's got a bit of angle, so I don't know if she's just going to roll this through or is she going to try and power it through, come all the way back down. So she has played this shot and she's played it well. She's given herself a shot on the 2. That is what you should always try and do. Make sure you give yourself a guaranteed shot. Don't try and, you know, do something too fancy. There you see Kelly there just leaving herself longish and thin. Now she's got to pop this. I think she's going to be playing for the 3 in the right centre. So she's going to swing the cue ball round. She doesn't need a contact unless it's a good contact.
Yeah, a bit of fortune there. Didn't intend to hit the 3, as you say, but it's okay the way it's fallen. Would have preferred not to have it at all, of course.
Now this is, she could bank the 3 in the corner where the cue ball is. That's one option. Or she could play a thin snip into the corner where the red ball is
Attention
near.
call.
Now whenever you're cutting these balls in, you're concerned about the cue ball, because the cue ball is going to come off the side rail and it would go kind of towards the centre, so Kelly might have to put left or right spin on this to avoid that. So it's not easy. That's why she's played the bank and she's made the bank. So that's a good shot.
She's not afraid of the winning line, is she? This could be another significant victory for her. She's beaten some of the most experienced and prominent names of the game over the last few days. This is a chance to get another win over a much younger player on the rise, and it will be her 2nd win over him in about 15 hours.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly's just, you know, I think we've gone past the, I wouldn't say shot stage, but of course Matchroom Sport have put 3 ladies in this event. We're not really used to seeing the ladies battle it out with the men that often. You know, they play on their own tour and we play on ours, and I think moving forward, get more ladies in the event. That's my vote.
An emphatic finish then for Kelly Fisher. She was 2-0 down early on. She turned it around to lead 3-2. And bit by bit, she's seen it out from there. The missed combination in the previous rack will haunt Fortunski for some time. But it's a winning start for Kelly Fisher for the 3rd day in a row. She prevails by 5 racks to 3.